map of modern India, or even listen to the language we speak, and you will find the name Indra everywhere. We call our five senses Panch Indriya. The historical capital of the subcontinent was Indraprastha, and major cities like Indore bear his name. Yet, if you walk through any Indian city today, you will almost never see anyone heading to a temple to pray to him. The statistics make this absence glaring. Right now, over 1,200 towns are named after Lord Ram, and more than 1,300 honor Lord Vishnu. Indra barely claims 50. Over centuries, later mythological texts, called the Puranas, systematically reduced his status. In these stories, Indra is written as a cosmic middle manager, paranoid, deeply insecure, and easily outsmarted by younger deities. This characterization makes his actual origins entirely baffling. If you open India's oldest and most sacred text, the Rigveda, Indra is the undisputed, all-powerful king of the gods. He is the most lauded deity, praised extensively in nearly every single chapter. A culture does not forget its supreme deity by accident. The extreme gap between ancient dominance and modern irrelevance points directly to a lost era of Indian history, buried beneath thousands of years of revision. Uncovering that lost era requires us to read the Rigveda, which is notoriously difficult to access. It is composed in Vedic Sanskrit, an incredibly dense language, and for much of history, studying it was strictly gatekept by specific sage families. To keep the knowledge pure, these families engineered an elaborate system of oral transmission that functions like a human blockchain. Entire lineages were dedicated to memorizing distinct sections of the text. Students practiced chanting the verses forwards, backwards, and with complex double repetitions. This rigorous mathematical encoding ensured that not a single syllable could be added, altered, or lost over thousands of years of invasions. Because of this perfect preservation, the text is an intact snapshot of ancient thought. But the 10 books of the Rigveda, called mandalas, are not arranged chronologically. Reading it requires us to excavate through different eras, treating the verses like geological strata. Pushing past the surface layers of modern mythology into the absolute oldest verses bypasses millennia of edits. Down there, we find the raw, original operating system of Indian civilization. Let's start near the top layer, the era of the Puranas. As ancient India interacted with new groups like the Harappans or Dravidians, their gods were absorbed rather than erased, expanding the Hindu pantheon and elevating deities like Shiva and Vishnu into a new trinity. You can see this cultural philosophy in how they treated mythological threats. In other Indo-European mythologies, heroes kill serpents. Here, the serpent Kalia is subdued beneath Krishna's feet, and the cosmic snake Vasuki is enlisted as a literal rope to churn the ocean. Digging slightly deeper into the outermost mandalas of the Rigveda, books 1 and 10, reveals the early seeds of this peaceful worldview. Here, the warrior god Indra begins taking on a softer, protective role, focusing on actions like reuniting lost calves with their mothers. The focus in this layer shifts entirely away from conflict. Sages start asking deep existential questions about whether a creator even exists, exploring the mysteries of consciousness, and writing verses that champion collective harmony. These upper layers document a civilization actively deciding to tame its own aggression. They chose to prioritize philosophical inquiry, assimilation, and coexistence over raw dominance. But when we penetrate the final layer and hit the absolute bedrock of the Rigveda, the oldest family books, mandalas 3, 6, and 7, every trace of that philosophical pacification vanishes. Down here, Indra is completely unrestrained. He is a primal embodiment of energy, a dragon-slaying divine military leader who thrives on battle and chaos. In historical conflicts like the Battle of the 10 Kings, early sages called upon Indra Bhakti for military support. He acted as the divine general for King Sudas, actively helping his worshippers scatter rival tribes and secure immense material wealth. This version of Indra feels completely foreign to modern Hinduism. His thunderous, violent energy aligns much closer with the conqueror gods of Greek or Norse mythology. These oldest family books reveal a period of Indian history where spiritual power was functionally inseparable from military success. In this era, prayer functioned as a weapon used to secure territory, cattle, and the very survival of the tribe. The eventual demotion of this raw, warlike energy was an intentional choice by later generations. They recognized that continuous civilizational survival required assimilation and order rather than endless tribal conflict. But that peace carried a massive psychological cost. Over centuries, the fundamental desire to be the greatest became culturally stigmatized, and ambition itself was frequently dismissed as an earthly illusion. A nation's external trajectory is often the shadow cast by its internal psychology. By metaphorically digging back down to that Rigvedic bedrock, we find a mindset that doesn't just seek to survive, but actively intends to win. We can strip away the toxic ego and the ancient violence, leaving only the engine of that era, an unapologetic self-belief and a refusal to treat one's own will as a distraction. The Rigveda offers a portal to an era where desire was a virtue and questioning the universe was a duty. It is a reminder that a civilization's strength depends on the raw courage to demand that it becomes the grandest version of itself.